how's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. Yeah, they would go on to make, 10 or 11 of these things, and we're calling Part 2 The Final Sacrifice? A little preemptive on that subtitle, but whatever. This movie came out in 1992, so a bit of a gap since the first one. The first one was a mid-80s movie, and now we're getting a 90s sequel. Weird they didn't strike Why the Iron Was Hotter, but at least we did start the sequel train. The movie was directed by David F. Prince and stars Terence Knox, Paul Scherrer, Ryan Bollman, Christie Clark, Rosalind and Ned Romero. And I have to say, the movie itself, it's okay. It knows its job and it chugs along, and we do get some fun moments, but for the most part it's kind of dull and uninspired. I mean, we miss key elements of the concept that made the first one so scary. Gatlin, the creepy abandoned town, we only see a couple scenes of that before we go into Hemmingford, which is just a regular populated town. None of the characters are lost, so we don't get that stranded in the middle of nowhere vibe, and in general, this movie just isn't as creepy as the first one. The plot's not great, I didn't really care for the characters, and it wasn't super scary. But as I said, it does have its moments, and by moments I mean cheesy, over-the-top stuff. We do get some truly goofy kills in this movie, some great bad special effects, and it does build to a fun little time. As I said, it's not horrible, it's just kind of uninspired. I wasn't really into it. But you did get the goofy moments or the occasional idea that did work. Overall, it's okay, but it is definitely a pretty big step down from the original Children of the Corn movie. But all that being said, what's this movie about? I'm going to talk a bit about the plot. I'll focus primarily on setup, but I want to break down and analyze a few plot points. So from here on out, let's take a bit of a deeper dive. We open up with sort of an aftermath segment. We find out that the couple from the first movie did in fact make it out, and they told the police what happened, and now the police are investigating Gatlin. We get a pretty good sequence where they're going through the basement of this one house and finding all the bodies. Some really cool makeup work there, and one of the corpses even swings down from the ceiling like it's Friday the 13th. And then we get what they decide to do with the children, and right off the bat, we have a pretty dumb decision. They basically decide that Isaac and Malachi were really the only bad apples in the group, and with those two gone, these are surely just normal kids now, so they decide to take them to Hemmingford, where they're going to have foster families, and then just be allowed to roam free, because I'm sure they're not going to reform their cult. And what, you think they would kill people? Nah. Let's just move the Children of the Corn and trust that nothing bad will happen if we don't detain them. That's a dumb idea, but whatever. We need the Children of the Corn to be out, or we don't have a movie. Well, we then cut to our main characters, and not gonna lie, these main characters, if you guys are Stephen King sequel fans, they're kind of basically just lifted from a Return to Salem's Lot. The dad is a reporter, he got divorced from the kid's mom, and he's trying to spend time with his kid by taking him to this mysterious small town in the middle of nowhere in order to do a story, but the kid doesn't respect him, and the two get in a lot of fights. Again, this is the exact same character setup as Return to Salem's Lot. That is super weird. But in the Salem's Lot sequel, you had Michael Moriarty, who is super charismatic, and his kid was so snotty that he turned around into being kind of this great parody character. The kid in that one was super funny and fun to follow. Here in this, I felt the dad to be kind of just dull, and the kid, he wasn't snarky enough to be funny, and it just came off as kind of a disrespectful kid. Overall, I didn't really care for the leads, and that is an important part of making a successful movie, giving us a cool character to follow. But whatever, we will get a highlight of the movie pretty soon when they run into a rival news team. They make fun of him because he used to have a prestigious position, but he got fired and now he's writing for a cheap tabloid. And the kid, of course, is going to side with the bully rival news anchors, but whatever. They're driving away, they make a wrong turn trying to take a shortcut through the corn, and they will be attacked by a big CGI cloud. Yeah, the best part of Children of the Corn 2 is its goofy moments, and we're getting into a super goofy one. When the storm comes, they think the best thing to do is leave their shelter for some reason, so they exit the car, one of them gets attacked by cartoon lightning, and the other gets killed by a flying piece of cornstalk. It is goofy, and we will get more goofy kills coming up. Not gonna do any spoilers for the kills, but let's just say one involves a wheelchair and another involves a house, and both are big, goofy, over-the-top sequences. The movie really does have its moments, especially if you guys like cheesy B-movies. But whatever, the guy and the kid get to town, and as he's talking to locals, he finds a beautiful woman that runs a bed and breakfast and decides to stay with her. And wouldn't you know it, she's taking in one of the corn children. His name is Micah, and he's dressed in all black, and he's a little bit edgy. But one day he goes out into the corn, he gets pulled like into this other dimension, and he literally gets reconstituted through the use of super cheesy 90s CGI. I don't even know if I could begin to describe it, but weird cartoon bubbles, and now he's possessed. And yeah, when you search up this movie on YouTube, that will be one of the first scenes you see, because it is goofy, and again, the goofiness is the most memorable part of this thing. And I will say Micah is okay. He's nowhere near as cool as Isaac was. Isaac was super memorable and a nice creepy little kid, and it helped that he was younger. I think there are too many teens of the corn in this movie, and we also don't really have too many standout performances. Again, the main kid is okay, and we do get some okay moments when they're like staring at you through a window or something, but these are mostly just kids standing there. I mean, this ghost kid on the front of the box, I so wish the Children of the Corn were as creepy as they were in this picture, but no, they're just kinda there, and too many of them are too old. I wish they went super creepy on this one, like feral even, that would have been fun, but no, they're just kids. We will eventually get the dad trying to solve the mystery, and we get two elements to this mystery. He runs into a Native American character who's a pretty fun character, and he begins to explain how this land had a local legend to it. And then he also finds out there's this plot with the adults, and during this plot they try to say, but what if it was natural and scientific? And to be honest, when they explained what they were talking about, I felt it a little groan-worthy. And plus they're trying to have their cake and eat it too by saying, oh, it's scientific and natural, but it's also this Native American legend and magic, which I wasn't a fan of. I mean, pick a side, right? And yeah, this sort of conspiracy, maybe the parents are evil subplot, I didn't really dig it. We also get another subplot where the teenage boy runs into this girl from Hemingford, and the two kind of fall in love. It's okay, it doesn't really add much to it, other than like an opposing side, because Malachi's gonna get him to kind of try to join him, and the girl's gonna be like, no, just be a normal person. And you know the drill, from here on out, the kids are going to try to kill all the adults in Hemingford too, and they're going to, for whatever reason, take out the first, like, one by one, rather than in one fell swoop like they did last time. But whatever, we have to have goofy, magical slasher moments. But yeah, we do take a little too long getting to the same point as we got to in the opening sequence of the first movie. But but whatever. It eventually does build into something pretty fun. A lot of the goofy moments are at the end of the movie, and we do heat up and have a bit of energy. Even if it isn't a super unexpected ending, it's fun enough, and I think that's really what I can say with the movie as a whole. It's not super unexpected. It's not near as good as part one, missing the we're lost in the middle of nowhere and the abandoned town element, and the kids not being as creepy, and it being goofier overall. It's not as good as the first, but it is fun enough. And I got, 9 more of these movies to watch? I'm sure there's going to be a few that are worse than this one. Overall, Children of the Corn 2 is okay. Not a terrible watch, but not the best thing ever either. Anyway, though, all that being said, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see me talk about movies kinda like this, you can click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.